line graph. This should not be anything terribly new to you, so this shouldn't be too difficult. In example 3, we're talking about making a line graph for the number of empty apartment units. And as you can see, in January the number is 5, February the number is 7, March the number is 12, April the number is 20, and in May and June 15. Again, January the number is 5, February 7, March 12, April has 20, May has 15, June has 15. Okay, so time ideally in a line graph should go across the bottom, so that's where I'm going to put my months. And up the side is where I'm going to put the vacancy numbers. Now remember, in any type of graph like this, you've got to meet or exceed your largest number. My biggest number here is 20, so I need to get up to 20 or go over it, either one. In this graph, it's probably fine for us to go by 5, so let's go ahead and go by 5. And as you can see, that brought me right to my top number, 20, so we're square. Probably could have gone by 3s, and you would have topped out at 21. That would have worked. Probably could have gone by 10s. That would have probably worked too. Not a big deal. Okay, so then the January number is 5. So I'm going to come up from January until I reach 5. Put a dot. Now the February number is 7. Of course, halfway between 5 and 10 is 7.5. So don't make sure you don't go quite halfway between 5 and 10. March number is 12, so again, not quite a halfway. So from March until I hit 12. April number is 20, so up from April until I hit 20. And the May and June numbers are both 15, so up from each of those until you hit 15. Line it in, and there you go. All right, the last thing this chapter covers then, or this section, is about when to use which type of graph. Throughout the year, we've talked about all of those types of graphs, but ideally, you're supposed to know when you have to make which one. I shouldn't have to tell you. You should be able to tell me when you've got to make which type of graph. So up at the top, it describes when you want to make each of the graphs. A circle graph is when you have data as parts of a whole, or in other words, the percentages, ideally the percentages, add up to 100%. A line graph is when we're talking about data over time. Stem and leaf plot contains ordered lists. You know that, we just covered that this week. Box and whisker plot is dividing data into quarters. Again, you should know that too, we just covered that this week. Bar graph is when you have data in distinct categories. And a histogram, now a histogram might be just a smidge forgotten here. Histogram is the one that looks like a bar graph. The only difference is the bars have to touch. But before you can make the histogram, you've got to make the frequency table that goes with it. So it's kind of like making two different things, really. So again, circle graph data as parts of a whole, where the total adds up to 100%. A line graph is when things deal with time. It doesn't have to be months, it could be days, years, minutes, whatever. Stem and leaf plot is when they're asking for ordered lists. Box and whisker plot is data divided into quarters. Bar graph is displaying data in distinct categories. And histogram deals with even intervals. Okay, so underneath that, we're not asking you to make the graph, we're just asking you which graph should I use. And part A is about summer vacation plans. 48% of the people said they have them, 37% of the people said they don't have them, 15% of the people haven't chosen which way. Alright, so based on those numbers, which type of graph should that be? Kaylee? That's a circle graph. 48, 37, and 15 add up to make 100%. That's a real good tip-off that I should be making a circle graph there. Alright, B. B is about ways people use the internet. 62% use it for research, 34% use it for shopping, 45% for email, 10% for the news, and 18% just for general browsing. Based on that list, which type of graph should I be making? What do you think, Kristen?
I think circle.
Nope, doesn't add up to 100%. You'd be right if they add up to 100%, but they don't add up to 100%. Elaine?
A line graph.
Nope, not a line graph, doesn't have to do with time. Kaylee? Say what you were just going to say. No, not a box whisker. Nick?
Stem and leaf.
No, not a stem and leaf plot. Brooke?
Bar graph.
That's a bar graph, okay? Distinct categories. There's categories given with names. That's the indicator that a bar graph is in order. It doesn't add up to 100%. It doesn't have anything to do with time. They're not asking you to put the numbers in order. There's no 4 parts there. There's not even sized intervals. So it's got to be bar graph. It's the only choice there. All right, last one. It's about the age of moviegoers. People from 0 to 19 years old, there's 57 people that go in there. 20 to 39 years old, there's 42 people that go in there. 40 to 59 years old, there's 37 people that go in that night. 60 to 79 years old, there's 12 people that go in that night. What type of graph should I make? What do you think, Nick?
Histogram.
That's a histogram. Even size intervals, as you can see, the ages are categorized into groups of 20 years. So that's got to be a histogram.